Welcome again to Radio Al Amal with a new episode full of surprises. Unlike our ordinary report, today we choose a new subject which is Algerian teenagers can speak English or not. Me and the work team collect all the teenagers' answers to the questionnaire on the form of a report. Now they will present it in front of our teacher and classmates. After you listen to the report was presented by the work team, we will give you something special that we can consider it as a surprise to you, which is hosting the English language teacher Bilham Reda, who was teaching us previously to our episode today on the radio. Of course, he will benefit us of information we don't know it about English language. So, we will get to know it together today. Hello teacher, welcome to the Radio Amal. How are you?
Hello, my dear. I'm doing well. What about you?
I'm good, thank you. Today we hosted you in a new episode titled Algerian Teenagers Can Speak English or Not to ask you some questions, so I hope that you accept our invitation.
I'm very glad to be your host. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good, so let's start. The first question: what is the position of English language in our Algerian society, according to your opinion?
Well, concerning your question about position of English in the Algerian society, as you know, Algeria is a great country. Most Algerian people can't speak English properly because the government wants them to learn the old colonial French. This is the truth, which is ranked 17 in the world in 2016. So they have limited access to the quality English. Well, consequently, this will hinder them from taking part and making their voice heard in a global world which uses English as the international language for communicating. Compared to some African countries, Algeria is far left behind in English speaking ability because French is imposed on Algeria and there are few, if any, English learning resources. Our children will never learn English at primary schools because we are governed by a Francophile regime remotely controlled by the old colonial France, who can't imagine an Algerian speaks English. Many years ago, a minister of education wanted to introduce English to primary school, and the parents were allowed to choose which language they want their children to learn in primary education, English or French. The Francophile lobby governed Algeria was shocked to see all parents choosing English and alarmed France, which contacted the Algerian authorities at that time, stating clearly that this minister had made a huge mistake and must leave the government immediately. And it was done without delay, as France dictated. Well, this is the sad thing to tell, but it's the truth that all the Algerian know. Although the internet is the only resource to those who do not attend school. Some private English schools are trying their best to improve the teaching and learning of English, but most of them are in the capital, in Algiers, and in big cities like Oran and Bijay, very far away and very expensive for people living in remote areas. Also, there is no newspaper, no radio, no TV programs in English. At the same time, the Algerian government is using everything like TV channel called Algerian TV, 5 radio stations and 12 newspapers to promote just French. But the Algerian people, especially teenagers who want to learn English, not French, as the world is becoming truly global, it's now absolutely important for Algerians to master English language. It is, after all, the most widely spoken language worldwide. The fact that English is a global language is something even the die-hard nationalists in Algeria cannot argue with. So, if we aspire to be more proficient in English, we are only trying to be better citizens of the world. Whether you like it or not, the whole world uses English. If you only learn English language as a subject in school, it's not going to get you anywhere. This is the truth. Unless you use it, unless we immerse ourselves in an environment where English is spoken, and unless we start reading and writing English, fluency will never be attained. The way forward is to have more subjects taught in English, like math and physics, for example, and even history. I hope very much in my capacity to influence my students to love English language as much as I do. I really hope that Algerian people will discover the beauty and utility of English and realize that French is ranked 12 in the world. I have dreamed that one day the Algerian child will be able to learn English in the primary school. Thank you.
Now, what do you think about the decision was issued by the Ministry of Education to replace the French language with the English language and teach it in primary schools?
Concerning your second question, Algerian Higher Education Minister Mr. Bouzid declared himself that the French language doesn't get us anywhere. That's simple. And also, the world is changing now, okay? We are living in a small village, so we should adapt, I think.
The last question. Why is English called the language of sciences?
Well, language is the blood of the soul into which thought run and out of which they grow. Language is a vital tool for communication. It's not only means of communicating thoughts and ideas, but it also builds friendship, economic relationship, and cultural ties. We can communicate only with sign without language. Moreover, language distinguishes the differences and also celebrates the uniqueness of cultures in a country or in a region or in community. The language shapes the way people perceive the world, and it also helps to define culture of any society. Any language is a gift for knowledge. Of more than one language makes a man more efficient and skillful in many ways. It opens our mind and guides us into a magical world of fancies and dreams. To certain, the proper learning of language helps us to develop ourselves, our minds, and also our personality. The human language is unique because it's a symbolic communication system that is learned instead of biologically inherited for some people. So, English, sorry, in today's world of globalization, we have to get knowledge of advanced technologies and all kinds of branches of science. There is an urgent requirement of such common language which can be understood by youth all over the world, and the language in which all data and information is available. Moreover, English language becomes a storehouse of social and political knowledge. The most recent and the most sophisticated discoveries and inventions in science and technology are being made in the universities located in the United States and UK, where English language is the means of scientific discourse. Thank you.
Thank you for participating in our episode today, sir. We have benefited a lot from this information, and we had a great pleasure to meet you.
Welcome, my dear. It was my pleasure. And remember one thing, the knowledge of languages is the doorway to wisdom. Okay?
Thanks a lot for your advice. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
I hope that you enjoyed this interview and you benefit from the information was provided by teacher. At the end of the episode, I tell you that English is okay to the library of the whole world. Besides, some people call it the organism or the language of the sciences. However, no other language has these titles. Now, thank you for the good follow-up and listening. I also thank the members of the work team بالمونة بسملة صفية برخلي فاطمة حمودي مريم مبارك نور الإسلام بوعافية محمد and بوفلج عبد الرحيم whom had a great role in this report, and I thank their teacher Bilham Rida for his participation with us. See you again in another episode with Al Amal Radio.